The forgers head for a pet shop. Lloyd plans to adopt a canine companion for Anya as a reward for earning her first Stella star. The agency Lloyd works for owns the pet shop and sells war dogs. Lloyd feels owning a dog from this shop would be beneficial since they're well-trained, protective, and strong. Unfortunately, Anya doesn't find any of the dogs to her liking. Before Lloyd informs the others, he is summoned to attend a spy-oriented excursion, leading him to fake a restroom break to depart from Yor and Anya. While in a car, Lloyd learns of an assassination plot involving Foreign Minister Brantz that's taking place at the summit. The suspects in question are Berlin University students who formed an isolationist group. Meanwhile, the plot are conversing with handler, Sylvia Sherwood. Sylvia tells him they've caught Keith and that he won't be necessary anymore. They escort the plotter out of the room, where he notices Keith, Lloyd in disguise, escorted by one of the agency members. Lloyd takes note and throws a tangent, placing all the blame on the plotter. Having fooled the plotter, the agency obtains intel about the rest of the group members' names, hideouts, and assassination plans. Apparently, Keith wishes to strap bombs on a few dogs and ambush Brantz. In another area, we see two terrorist students walking dogs. One of them is the telepathic white canine. While one of the terrorists leaves to grab a coffee, the white canine rushes toward a toddler to save them from a sudden injury. At the pet adoption event, Yor and Anya are amazed by the numerous animals present. Suddenly, the white canine from earlier walks by, grabbing Anya's attention away from the animals. As she stares into the canine's eyes, Anya reads its mind and uncovers that the dog was thinking about her, Yor, and Lloyd. Anya decides to investigate and follow the dog in his owner's trail, as she's weirded out by what she picked up in its thoughts. This leads Anya to discover one of Keith's hiding places, as she overhears their assassination plan involving Brantz and bomb dogs. Anya's startled when she finds out she's infiltrated a criminal hideout. Before she could flee, one of the terrorists catches her and lets the others know that she heard their plan. Keith plans to murder Anya to avoid detection. Before Keith could strike, the white canine frees itself and defends Anya. While Anya and the canine plot their escape, Yor notices that Anya's missing and starts searching around the event. Suddenly, Keith's phone rings and the caller informs him that agents have infiltrated two of his hideouts. Keith's bewildered, assuming that one of his men had ratted him out. He tells everyone not to panic as he has an alternative idea. However, Keith realizes Anya and the canine have fled. While fleeing, Anya realizes that the white dog can somehow peer into the future and wonders if it is a telepath like her. Once they make it outside, Anya and the dog run toward the pet adoption event and scream. This catches Yor's attention. After running around the block numerous times, Anya and the canine find themselves cornered by Keith. Keith threatens to murder them. However, his desire is put to rest when Yor arrives. Yor quickly knocks out Kurt and threatens to do the same with Keith. Keith orders one of the dogs to attack Yor, but Yor gives off a terrifying atmosphere, causing the canines to back off. More people start to appear, causing Keith to flee the scene, leaving the white dog behind with Yor and Anya. Anya apologizes for running off without Yor's permission, but Yor's glad she's okay. Yor then rushes to a nearby telephone booth to inform the police of the details. While Yor's on the phone, Anya reads the white dog's mind and finds out he's peering into the future again. Anya sees everyone smiling in the living room but notices Lloyd strangely missing. She looks into the canine's mind further and discovers something horrifying. A bomb will go off in one of Keith's hideouts when clock will go off, and she'll rush toward that location. She'll find Lloyd's lifeless corpse below a bunch of rubble from that building. This indicates that Lloyd will trigger one of Keith's bombs and die. Therefore, Anya makes up an excuse for Yor to flee from her once again. Once Anya leaves, Yor decides to track her down, but again, she seems to have lost track of her daughter. However, she doesn't know how to read the clock and decides to ask a nearby citizen. The citizen informs her that the clock will go off in 30 minutes. While trying to find the bomb's location, the white canine picks up Keith's scent, grabs Anya, and rushes her to a nearby corner. Keith opens his door, and Anya assumes that Keith placed the bomb inside the building next to the clock tower. Anya realizes they have 7 minutes left and rushes into the building with her canine companion at her side. The white canine sniffs the area and discovers the room with the bomb in it. Before Anya touches its doorknob, the white canine barks, reminding her that touching it would set the bomb off. Anya enters the room through a nearby window. She spots the bomb but doesn't know how to defuse it. She recalls that spies normally disarm bombs by cutting the red wire, but this bomb's wires are all black. She decides her best action is to tell Lloyd not to enter. Meanwhile, Lloyd and Handler's men arrive and find the building and room Keith placed the bomb in. Lloyd tells the man to proceed carefully, but he rushes to the door, but Lloyd tells the man that he had a bad feeling about the door because of the message Anya left behind. Lloyd finds some reflective glass in the window, showing him that a bomb was placed on the door. Lloyd notices that the secret police have caught on and that they need to leave immediately. He says it's best for the police to disarm the bomb. Foreign Minister Brantz walks out and confronts Yor's brother, Yuri. Yuri tells him that the secret police will move ahead to avoid any issues. Keith monitored the situation and headed after the minister. Little does he know that this isn't Brantz but Lloyd in disguise, who knew Keith would make such a move. Keith reaches Brantz's car but doesn't see him inside. He looks around and spots Brantz running. Keith tells his dog to go after Brantz and plans to detonate the bomb as soon as the dog bites him. Keith pursues Brantz in his vehicle while his dog's chasing him. Keith's taken aback by Brantz's athleticism and agility. The dog chases Brantz toward a nearby alleyway and prepares to attack him. The bomb dog ends up biting Lloyd's arm, but Lloyd throws the bomb strapped to him into the river. Keith notices the dog bites Lloyd's arm and detonates the bomb. Keith realizes that the bomb somehow landed in the river after he explodes it. Keith flees the scene. Meanwhile, Yor is searching for Anya and spots Keith fleeing the scene. She jumps in front of his vehicle and delivers a powerful kick, causing Keith to crash into a nearby light pole. Yor calls the police to alert them that she's taken care of the terrorist. Lloyd departs the meeting and bumps into Anya, Yor, and the white canine. He's puzzled that they weren't at the adoption event. Yor explains what happened to Lloyd, and Lloyd apologizes for remaining in the bathroom for a long time. Anya tells Lloyd that the white canine protected her, and Lloyd theorizes that the dog was one of Project Apple's test subjects. Handler gives in to Anya's demands, allowing the Forger family to adopt him. She whispers to Lloyd that if Anya acts terribly, then Operation Strix won't go swimmingly. It's best to adhere to Anya's demands as she asks Lloyd to keep an eye on the white canine. The next day, the Forgers welcome the dog to their home. Lloyd suggests that they should give him a proper name, which makes the canine recall the harsh treatment he received from Keith and his men. Anya rushes to hug the white canine to comfort him. The canine barks and wags his tail, showing that he's happy to be with the Forgers. At school, Beck runs into Anya in class. Anya tells Becky that she has a pet dog now, leading Becky to bombard her with questions about it. Anya departs. Anya runs into Damien and his friends and tells him she has a pet dog. Damien isn't impressed, leading Anya to kneel in defeat. Damien's friends egg on his poor behavior, but Damien asks Anya what's the dog's name. Anya doesn't respond to him because she has yet to name the dog, resulting in Damien and his friends depart. They visit the dog park to get some fresh air. On their way, Anya asks Lloyd to let her walk the dog, but he tells her that she's not ready for that yet. He says that Anya and the dog need to learn more things before they can be alone. After Anya and the white canine play in the park, Lloyd tells Anya it's time to go, but she realizes her favorite gloves are missing. As the Forgers look for her gloves, the white canine discovers that another woman's puppy has retrieved them. Anya tries to get them back, but the lady's pet refuses to let them go. It takes the white canine's intimidating presence to convince the nearby dog to drop the gloves. That dog's owner yells at the Forgers for scaring her pet and leaves. Anya rushes over to the white canine and retrieves her gloves. She recalls a scene from her favorite cartoon Bondman. Anya tells the white dog that he reminds her of Bondman, leading to her giving him the name Bond. At home, Anya ties a bow collar around Bond's neck.
Lloyd pondering about Yor's late arrival home as Anya and Bond play with each other. When Yor arrives home, Lloyd notices her gloomy demeanor and flesh wounds. The next day, Yor visits Camilla's house to learn how to cook and Camilla and Dominic greet Yor. Yuri arrives as taste tester. Yor tells him not to let Lloyd and Anya know that she's trying to get better at cooking. Yor finishes her first dish and Camilla and Dominic insist that Yuri test the meal. Yuri pretends to like the meal even though Camilla sees him throwing it up. Camilla asks Yor and Yuri to recall a meal their mother made for them. Yuri tells Yor to try making the fried egg stew their mother used to make. Yor prepares the meal and Camilla tests the stew and says it's not bad and Yor gains some confidence. Yor informs him and Anya that she had Camilla teach her how to cook. Lloyd and Anya taste the fried egg stew and find it delicious. Henderson tasks the students with making 3D animal objects out of the provided materials. Henderson announces that Damien and Anya will be in the same group. Anya plans to create a cool-looking Bond figure to show off to Damien. Anya passes her Bond sculpture to Damien and says its name is Bond. Damien asks her if she's into naming garbage, causing Anya to feel slightly depressed. Damien reveals to his friend that he's making a griffin that resembles his family's crest. Anya presents him with poorly made feathers, enraging him. He calls Anya useless, causing her to cry. Henderson yells at Damien for his poor behavior. Damien tears up because he wants to impress his father. At night, Damien calls his butler, Jeeves, and asks if he had told Desmond about his orientation, and Jeeves said his father was worried about his health. Damien doesn't buy it and hangs up the phone. Henderson announces to the students that their midterm examinations will start in a week. He confirms that there are 4 subjects. Students who pass will receive Stella Stars, while those that fail will receive Tonitrus Bolts. Anya devises a scheme to read Damien's mind during history exams to obtain excellent scores. Her mind-reading ability disappears on the day the moon goes away. She realizes this event will occur when the exams begin, so she can't cheat on the tests. Yuri arrives. Anya introduces herself to Yuri, who isn't pleased to meet her because she's Lloyd's kid. Yuri and Anya begin their study session. Yuri gives Anya a motivational speech to inspire her. Unfortunately, after another failed attempt, Yuri calls it quits. Meanwhile, Lloyd sits atop one of the school's roofs. He plans to infiltrate the safe room and forge Anya's test results to prevent her expulsion via Tonitrus Bolts. Suddenly, Lloyd spies a suspicious man, who named Daybreak to alter a specific student's answer sheet. Daybreak performs creative stunts and manages to swing by the guards, shocking Lloyd. The guard protecting the room notices him. He informs Daybreak that he can't enter this area without an ID. Lloyd saves Daybreak by telling the guard he dropped his ID luckily. At the safe, Daybreak forgets the passcode. He tells Lloyd that he needs to use the restroom before Lloyd enters the safe room. Daybreak jets behind him and knocks him out. While Daybreak searches for his assigned students' files, Lloyd monitors him. He pretended to look unconscious because he felt it would be safe to carry out his task after Daybreak completed his. Lloyd notices that Daybreak altered the Desmond brothers' grades into failing grades. He ponders if Daybreak's client is a business rival or enemy of Desmond's. Lloyd re-alters their grades because it had threatened Operation Strix if they got expelled. Lloyd recounts how intelligent both brothers are and eventually finds Anya's test sheet. Henderson announcing his class's social studies assignment. The students must research occupations that interest them. At home, Anya asks Yor about her job, puzzling Yor. She doesn't know whether to tell Anya about her clerk or assassin job. Knowing about this through her telepathic powers, Anya says she'll do her report on Lloyd's work. 2 days pass and Lloyd shows Anya his workplace at the hospital psychiatry department. Lloyd puts on a lab coat and they head for his office. Anya asks Lloyd why he pursued this career. Lloyd says he wanted to help people defeat their illnesses and said it was a decision he made in college. However, Lloyd's true intentions are for Desmond to get sick and enter his office seeking help. Anya meets Lloyd's colleagues and they are how happy they are to be working alongside him. Lloyd suggests calling Yor to pick Anya up, but Anya wants to monitor his work until completion. Lloyd receives a knock from a possible wise agent. He takes out a box of sand for Anya to play with and warns her not to touch anything. He departs and Anya finds a lever that reveals the secret passageway behind the bookshelf. A ceiling vent allows Anya to spy on a group of hospital workers discussing rumors about deadly ghosts in the hospital. Anya attempts to leave but gets trapped under a pipe. She makes loud noises, startling the workers. She breaks free, returns to the consultation room, and pretends to be playing with the sandbox. Lloyd enters and notices the pile of toys injected into the sandbox. Lloyd pieces together that this could mean Anya's under immense stress due to her former orphanage days. Handler hands a document to a wise spy named Fiona Frost and sharing Lloyd's progress Operation Strix's progress. Her code name is Nightfall and has ambitions. Someone rings the doorbell and she answers to find Fiona standing in front of it. Fiona introduces herself as Lloyd's colleague and hands Yor Anya's magnifying glass back since she left it at the hospital. Yor asks Fiona if Fiona would like to come in and wait for Lloyd to return from walking bond with Anya. She accepts the offer and receives some tea from Yor. In her mind, Fiona plans to steal Yor's wife's role from her while Yor's nervous as she doesn't know how to handle a guest without Lloyd's help. When Yor admits to lacking in her relationship with Lloyd, Fiona tries steering the conversation into dramatic territory. However, she stops when Anya, Lloyd, and Bond return. Fiona and Lloyd discuss their deeper spy plans through coded conversation tactics. Anya uses her mind-reading powers and realizes Fiona's a spy like Lloyd. Upon closer inspection, Anya discovers that Fiona has a crush on Lloyd. Fiona announces her departure and leaves. Later day, Fiona hands Lloyd a document for their collaborative case. It involves them stealing a painting from a man named Cavi Campbell called Lady in the Sun. It once belonged to Eric Zacharias, who worked in the East's Military Intelligence Division during the war and is rumored to contain information about East-West human experimentation on prisoners of war and massacres. They hope to obtain the dossier before the Eastern government learns of its existence. As Fiona's plan, they goes to an underground tennis court where a doubles match wraps up. Many people in the crowd complain after losing money they wagered. Lloyd and Fiona show up to the tournament in disguises and to participating in the events. Fiona highlights how Campbell and the club organizers sponsor this underground tennis tournament. The champion receives an item from Campbell's collection as their prize. Winning the competition is their best option since it'll allow them to steal the painting. Meanwhile, Yor, Anya, and Bond are playing tennis at the park, and Yor ponders if Lloyd's playing tennis with Fiona since he told her he'll be competing in a competition. Fiona confirms that this tennis tournament allows cheating and that these men must have used some steroids. The Boric brothers intimidate Lloyd, infuriating Fiona. We cut to the match's conclusion, and it appears that Fiona's anger allowed her and Lloyd to score a flawless victory over the Boric pair. The client who hired the Boric pair is shocked by the result. Lloyd dwells on the fact that they'll be playing against Mr. Campbell's high school children, who have been receiving elite tennis training since early childhood in the finals. Fiona argues they shouldn't worry about them as they're guaranteed to win. The Campbell children are infuriated with Lloyd and Fiona's skill level. Lloyd compliments Fiona's tennis skills as she smiles. To Mr. Campbell's displeasure, Lloyd and Fiona win the tournament. One of Mr. Campbell's men whispers something into his ear as Lloyd and Fiona ask for the Lady in the Sun painting as their prize. Mr. Campbell says they cannot have that painting but offers to swap it with something else. Fiona explains that Lloyd had to leave for a moment because of his hangover. Fiona checks her bag and overhears Mr. Campbell discussing that someone is coming in 10 minutes to retrieve the lady in the sun painting. Fiona and Lloyd, who is now disguised as one of Mr. Campbell's men, head to their vehicle. Lloyd removes his disguise and reveals that he stole the lady in the sun painting. He pulled it off because Fiona had a fake copy of it in her bag, and she left it in the room for Lloyd was under disguise to successfully swap it. Fiona drops Lloyd off at the park, where Anya, Yor, and Bond are playing together. Fiona challenges Yor to a one-on-one tennis match. Yor throws the ball into the air and swings. It falls to the ground. Seconds later, the ball shatters into bite-sized pieces. Anya sends Bond to give Yor another ball. Yor promises herself not to use too much strength to hit the ball. Yor serves the ball, and Fiona's bewildered by its intense speed and power. Her efforts are thwarted when her racket breaks from the ball's intense speed. Fiona tells Yor she admits defeat but asks for a revenge match sometime in the future. Yor wandering the streets looking depressed. She feels that Lloyd doesn't find her good enough. Lloyd overhears some of his neighbors gossip about the possibility that Lloyd might have an affair with another woman. Lloyd takes Yor to his favorite bar to discuss things. Yor has problems telling Lloyd how she feels, so she gulps her entire beverage in one sitting. While drunk, Yor asks Lloyd if he loves Fiona, but Lloyd tells her to calm down. Lloyd tries using romantic tactics to calm Yor down, but this only embarrasses her and she kicks him across the bar. He awakens to Yor singing the same lullaby his mother sang to him. Yor reveals that the bartender chased them out for causing a scene. Lloyd and Yor talk things out and share an intimate moment together. Several parents attending Eden Academy's semi-annual Imperial Scholar event. This is where parents of former and current Imperial Scholar family members meet leading figures from multiple different businesses. Lloyd decides that it'd be best to meet up with Donovan Desmond as himself and to make preparations for the next event. Lloyd plans to follow Damien as he feels he might get a chance to meet Donovan outside. Suddenly, Donovan arrives with his cronies and Lloyd confronts Donovan. He apologizes for Anya's dishonorable behavior toward Damien. He finishes his sentiment by claiming that child raising is a challenging task. Desmond praises Damien and asks him to continue to work hard and not bring shame to Desmond's name. Lloyd returns home to Yor, Anya, and Bond. Bond and Anya are fast asleep.
How was the video? We hope it was good. If so, please check these videos. Also, please comment down your thoughts and your suggestions for future videos. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing now to show the support to our channel. We hope to see you soon with another video right in this channel. Have a nice day.